This conference will now be recorded.
Hello friends, welcome to the SAPtrainings.com. This is GANAPATI ADIMULAM, the SAP trainer, certified in ABAP as well as HANA ABAP. Today, let us try to understand the difference between UI5 versus Fiori. I come across the same question from many of the participants saying that we are unable to decide whether we want to go for UI5 or Fiori. Yes, guys, this session might be helpful for all the beginners, those who really wanted to understand what exactly the UI5 and Fiori and the relations. Yes, to put it in simple words, guys, see this. So I wanted to say the SAP UI5 is, Fiori is, the SAP Fiori is a building, an end product which is constructed, the tools like SAP UI5. So the end product is SAP Fiori, and the tools that are used to construct that end product or building is nothing but your SAP UI5. Yes, guys, SAP has delivered thousands of Fiori apps which are delivered through SAP UI5. Being a UI5 developer, we are supposed to enhance the existing Fiori app, or if required, develop the new Fiori app. Develop the new Fiori app through SAP UI5. Even enhance the Fiori app is also through SAP UI5. In fact, Fiori stands for a flower. So Fiori apps are nothing but an app which is as beautiful as a flower. Now, why this Fiori came into picture? Why SAP has delivered these things? In fact, SAP has already some standard applications like SAP ECC, in which the transactions are developed such a way and FI to meet the finance requirement, controlling, sales, purchasing, production, etc. In fact, the entire SAP system is rewritten, redeveloped, re-engineered in the form of Fiori apps. Earlier we called them as transactions, now we call them as Fiori apps. Yes, guys, in fact the entire SAP is rewritten for the modules like manufacturing, sales, finance, asset management and procurement. Yes, very common question is why, what makes them, what made SAP to develop and such an application? So what made them to put such an effort to rewrite the entire SAP system? Yes, guys, that is try to understand why exactly Fiori. Yes, why Fiori apps came into picture. Yes, guys, the world is changing. The consumers wanted to run their business, perform their business as simple as they place an order in the Amazon, as simple as they tweet in the Twitter, as simple as they chat through Facebook. Yes, guys, this is the world nowadays changing, and people are expecting even their business to be done as simple as how they interact with their personal sites. That's what. So SAP identify this change. When the world is changing, why not SAP? See this? People wanted to have the same easy, feature rich experience they have with their personal sites in the business place. Yes, they wanted to place their orders, they wanted to recruit the employees, they want to check the stock of the material as simply how they place an order in Amazon, how they tweet it, how they send the mail, how they chart it. That much simply, even they wanted to work from the workplace. Yes, guys, this is the evidence where the daily applications such as Google and social media apps and users wanted to execute their business as simple as how they perform their daily applications such as Google and social medias. So this is how the world is changing. Yes, guys, we have smart kids, smartphones. Why not smart SAP? Yes, smart kids, smartphones. Why not smart SAP? Yes, now SAP is smart enough. It's a mandatory for the SAP to be smart. Yes, guys, the world is changing. When the world is changing, so SAP. So SAP has recognized this change in the society and made their goal to meet this new standard. So they're trying to transform the user experience. The moment I say user experience and the user interface mainly. So the user interface should be as simple as possible. Yes, now you understood, right? Since the world is changing and it's a mandatory for the SAP. So we have smartphones, we have smart kids, we have smart work. Why not smart SAP? The smart SAP is nothing but SAP Fiori, which is a collection of apps developed through SAP UI5 for various modules or departments like sales, finance, human resource, procurement, etc. So definitely the future is SAP Fiori only, because things will be more and more smart day by day. Then and the SAP must be and more smart day by day. Yes. Now to develop the SAP Fiori apps as smart as possible, SAP Fiori has come up with some design guidelines. While designing an app, make sure that you keep these points in mind. We call it as UX, means user experience design principle. Make sure that your app is role based, in the sense the sales manager should be able to see only the sales activity, the finance manager only the finance activity, similarly the HR manager only the HR activities. Your apps must be role based and the responsive across all the browsers and the devices, such a way you code only once, use it in all the devices. Then simple, yes, makes sense, and as simple as possible. Coherent, the same rich experience, the constant experience. And finally delightful, it is emotionally connected. So it should be as pleasant as possible. The user interface or your user experience must be as pleasant as possible. So when you want to deliver any free apps, we need to keep these points in mind. Make sure that your app is role based and responsive, simple, coherent, as well as delightful. Just when it's a role based, earlier every user get into the same transaction earlier in your ECC or ERP. So if you observe it in the material management transaction, and I have basic views and inventory views, purchasing views, sales views, and accounting views, everything in the same place. That is not role based. So being a purchasing manager, I should be able to access only the purchasing related information. Of course, we can restrict with the authorizations and all, but I don't want to see the unnecessary information. See this purchasing manager, sales manager, and accounting manager. This is a SAP material management transaction. Of course, this user fields sales related information. This user fields purchasing related information. But why should I offer the entire screen or user interface for them? Let us make it three parts here. This is for this role, this is for this role, this is for this role. This is what and role based means. Same thing as we said, adaptive means and adapts to multiple devices and browsers. Simple as simple. What is simply only what is necessary. Just offer only what is necessary. And coherent means one fluid user experience, a constant user experience. And delightful makes an emotional connection. You should not use very odd colors, very odd patterns and all. So the design must be as pleasant as possible. Such a way your app should be developed. Yes, guys, SAP Fiori, as we said, it is end product. SAP has already come up with many Fiori apps. Earlier we called it as SAP ERP, now it is SAP Fiori, and it is a Red Dot Award winner. Yes, guys, out of 4,680 entries from 61 countries, and SAP Fiori and got this award for their design concept, for their interaction category. So such a way the Fiori apps are designed. Yes. So now to put an end for UI5 and Fiori, I guess you people now understood what exactly the UI5 and Fiori. To put it simple, the end product is a Fiori and the tools that are used to develop is SAP UI5. So what I'm trying to say, in future and since the world is moving towards smart kids, smartphones, smart cities, guys, then why not a smart SAP? So in future, yes, it is smart SAP. The smart SAP is through smart UI5, that is SAP UI5. This is for the front end. Now let us try to understand the SAP UI5. Yes, so SAP UI5 is the technical side of developing and Fiori. It is the UI5 development toolkit for HTML5. Why they brought HTML5 into picture? Yes, guys. So when I'm talking about the smart world, I'm talking about the mobile applications, the web applications. So only HTML only HTML pages can be rendered or shown on the web. When you wanted to show anything on the web, it must be an HTML page. So, and SAP came up with their own HTML, you can call like that, their own HTML called SAP UI5. Internally it is HTML5. Whatever you see in HTML5, the same thing in UI5, but with their own library. Their own library. It is a platform for developing user rich interfaces. We are talking about user interface only, because even the backend in SAP is still the ABAP language, but a modern way of backend development. There is something called OData. Maybe in the further sessions I'll explain that what is OData. Yes, we have the modern way of developing backend, a modern way of developing front end. So the modern way of developing front end is your SAP AI5. It is the platform for developing user-rich interfaces for modern web applications. Yes, guys. So these are some of the key features from SAP UI5 as we discussed. And if you remember earlier what we said, the Fiori apps are responsive. How come the Fiori apps are responsive? Only when the SAP UI5 is capable enough to deliver the responsive apps. Because Fiori app is the end product which is developed through SAP UI5. If SAP UI5 is capable enough to deliver the responsive apps, then only a Fiori app can be responsive. So anything we expect in the Fiori app level, that must be done at the SAP UI5 level. Yes. So SAP UI5, one of the feature is responsive across browsers and devices. So you don't need to worry about device specific UI5 apps. Device specific. You don't need to code it for 3 times. One for mobile, one for your tab, one for laptop, one for desktop. Yes, UI5 apps run on smartphones, tablets, and desktops, but without changing or without much effort. Maybe very minimum, very little amount of effort might be required, but not much effort. So the UI5 controls automatically adapts themselves to each device capabilities and make the most of the available features. That's what responsive means across the browsers and devices. And it supports the latest concepts like MEC. It is a model view controller. This is one of the design pattern to keep the development as individual as possible. My front end can be developed independently, back end can be developed independently. To put it in simple words, and the front end is known as views, back end we call it as a model. To let them communicate, we need some controller. So that we'll see more in the further sessions. So, and here views and models. Since we are talking about views and models, and these are the SAP supported views: XML, HTML, JavaScript, and JSON. Yes, guys, it is early to discuss this one. Just to make sure that what kind of views are supported by SAP, what kind of models. Yes, enterprise ready web toolkit, the SAP Fiori apps library. So it is the enterprise ready web toolkit. So many apps are already ready, and if required, they can be enhanced, and we can also develop the custom Fiori apps. So, and a translation and internationalization support, what we call I-18. So since we are talking about user experience, and we should be able to attract as many customers as possible by providing the translation features and the extensibility concept. Yes, as we said, and the standard apps can be extended, and high contrast theme to aid visually impaired users. Yes, guys, not only the regular users and the visually impaired users also can interact with your apps. So SAP UI5 is such a capable and development toolkit. Yes. So award winning SAP Fiori design, as you said, the Red Hat award. So with various controls, various themes. Themes is to make the things attractive. Yes. Now the technical side of UI5. Yes, SAP UI5 is the UI technology, client UI technology based on JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. When you say UI5, it is the client, the front end. Yes, so this is the technical side of UI5 and HTML5 or CSS and JavaScript. To put it in simple words, and HTML5 is a place where you develop the web pages. By default, it is static. To make the page more attractive, we use cascade style sheets where we apply the font sizes, colors, and all these things, background colors. And to make your page more dynamic, then JavaScript comes into picture. These are all at the front end level. Back end level, guys, when it is SAP, it is your ABAP only, but a new way of offering the data in the form of OData. We'll see that later, guys. Now, HTML5 is to develop your web page, to make the page attractive, your CSS, and to make the page dynamic, like validations and all. JavaScript comes into picture. Yes. So SAP UI5 is developed on the top of HTML5, CSS, and Java query. These are all the open technologies, open source technologies. In fact, we also call them together as Open UI5. But on the top of the Open UI5, plus some additional features, we call it as SAP UI5. So SAP UI5 is Open UI5 plus some additional controls which are not possible in the Open UI5. So SAP UI5 is SAP's proprietary format, proprietary development toolkit. Open UI5 is a free source. Yes, the same thing. What an HTML5 is, hypertext markup language. It is for structuring and presenting the content on the web as a web page. Cascading style sheet. It is to make your page beautiful. JavaScript is a programming language. JavaScript is not Java, guys. You don't need to know Java, of course. So it's an object oriented and it's a programming language that to make your HTML pages more dynamic. Yes, jQuery is again a JavaScript library to speed up your development. So collection of JavaScript library only. Usually in the traditional JavaScript we have to do a lot of coding and many things can be kept under one function as part of Java query, jQuery we can simply call it. Maybe we'll discuss more in the UI5 applications. Yes guys, so SAP UI5 versus Fiori now. A conclusion. Is this clear? SAP UI5 Fiori. Then SAP UI5 versus Open UI5. Yes, thank you. When it's Open UI5, it is a free open source. And one very common difference between this and this, and here certain additional functionalities. Here not many additional functionalities. That's what we see here. Open UI5 and SAP UI5 are basically the same framework because both are on the HTML, CS and all. The only difference between these two is SAP UI5 contains some additional libraries such as APF, analysis path framework, and also some social media integration across charting library, etc., etc. Now coming to the development. Yes, SAP UI5 development tools. We can go for Eclipse or it is SAP Web IDE. SAP Web IDE is SAP's tool and Eclipse is open source again. Again for Eclipse, I need to add UI5 as a plugin. Eclipse is basically the Java development environment. For that, you can add the further tools as a plugin. UI5 can be added as a plugin. so that it supports UI5 development also. Whereas SAP Web ID, SAP is proprietary tool with many predefined functionalities. SAP Web ID will speed up the development with some standard templates. If you want a master and detail template, there is an option. We just need to provide from where the data is coming. That's all. They'll give the template for master and detail kind of thing. Whereas in Eclipse, we have to manually code it. Yes, guys. Any questions? And I want you to understand what exactly the Fiori, the UI5, and Open UI5. If not, even in future, if you get any questions, any suggestions, and please post to the SAP trainings at the rate of Gmail, and even we are available on WhatsApp too on this number. Yes, guys. For all of your online training needs, you can reach the saptrainings.com through this. In fact, you can go to our saptrainings.com and you can go through this. You can download the course contents. You can reach me for further needs, and please encourage us with your valid suggestions to so that we can and prepare as many videos as possible to help the beginners. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.